So today in the next hour, what we're going to run through is a couple of things. I've thrown a handful of slides together to kind of first talk about Sage CRM in general and just what is the application that's there today. From there, we're going to go ahead and get into the live demonstration, and we're going to have Ed go ahead and dig into the application and literally run through it. This is the first of many lunch and learns that we plan on doing around CRM and ERP. And today will be a very broad, kind of covering everything that I call the 50-foot overview. We're going to show you really everything without really digging into too much to kind of show you the breadth of the application. And we're going to run through a scenario that we call web to close. And in this, hopefully you'll see kind of the breadth of the Sage CRM application, and you're going to see many touch points that it has into the Sage 100 product. It takes us, this actual demonstration is going to take us kind of from, hey, someone hits our website, how do we capture that information, how do our sales folks do what they need to do, and how do they, pull the necessary information from the ERP product. And again, that will kind of show us the breadth. Keep an eye out if you are interested. We will do kind of more specific webinars that are really focused on certain parts of the front of the house, like how to CRM or how do people on the CRM side take advantage and become more effective by using ERP or CRM, marketing, customer service, and we'll do more targeted lunch and learns as we kind of go on. As Bryce had mentioned, everybody's on mute, so if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat, and we'll address those as we go. We will make time at the end of the presentation. I don't foresee this being a full hour, where we'll actually do a Q&A session. Okay. So getting into the first slide, what I wanted to do is first talk about the Sage solution or the ERP portfolio. I'm assuming most of the people, if not everybody on this call, are Sage 100 customers. And hopefully you find that the Sage 100 product really is a good application and really kind of does everything you need from what we call the back of the house. And the back of the house is what we consider core financials, inventory management, manufacturing, payroll, things of that nature. What we're going to kind of talk about is the front of the house, and that's really where CRM touches. Sage has done a really good job of kind of delivering a pretty complete application that services all those things in the back of the house that you're looking to do. And as you're all aware, they're continuing to increase that portfolio by adding things like payment solutions, Sage HRMS, and other things, Sage Intelligence. But what Sage has also done is offered the Sage CRM application as part of this portfolio. And getting back to the free part of what you have today is everybody that's on Sage MAP 90 or Sage 100, 4.5 and above, has one free CRM user, and that's a concurrent license. So you can create as many named users as you want as long as no more than one user in it at any time. And that's all part of the package. So you have that today. You can turn it on and take advantage of it. Similar to ERP, we always suggest that, hey, if you want to evaluate CRM, please feel free to reach out to us because it's not as easy as flipping a switch and the world is great. CRM is a process. So understanding your business, how to use this and better utilize the application to get some value out of it, we certainly suggest that you reach out to us. But it is something from the software side that you have today. Let's go ahead and talk about Sage CRM. What is Sage CRM? Well, Sage CRM is a world-class CRM application, and it's what I call a best-of-breed product. And what I mean by that is, although there's out-of-the-box integration with the Sage 100 product, this product is also sold independent of Sage 100. It is also integrated into other ERP applications. So organizations that are not taking advantage of the Sage ERP product do have the ability to go ahead, and there's many of them that run Sage CRM as their CRM application. And this particular product, from a feature functionality standpoint, competes with the likes of Salesforce.com, Microsoft Dynamics. It's a very complete application. And really, at a high level, if you have to ask what CRM is, it's really the set of tools that is really used by anybody in your organization that is customer-facing. There's a whole set of tools that we're going to show you around marketing. So how do we get our brand recognition out there? How do we capture inquiries from people hitting our website, going to trade shows? How do we then align those out to those leads out to the appropriate salesperson? From there, there's a whole set of tools for sales. So lead prospecting, opportunity management, and then what I call post-sale. Once we have customers, there's a whole set of tools here for managing our customers through customer service. So if we have a general 800 number, we need to do some complexity around tracking issues that are happening that maybe take a long time and involve multiple people within our organization. There are these tool sets that are all part of this application that I'm going to show you today. There's a lot of new things that Sage is adding and very excited about. They're getting into the world of social collaboration. It's kind of the new buzzword that you hear out there. And the way that I explain what social collaboration is really similar to your personal collaboration, I guess, as you put it. If you've used Facebook before, it's taking that concept and putting it into a business delivery. So you could log into general boards where the organization can kind of keep a running dialogue of, hey, here's what's going on. We're having these trade shows. We're doing this. But we can also then break out those boards and put them into subject specific. So, hey, here's a board about a product. Here's a board about a customer. We can also do some collaboration with external, non-internal users, such as customers. So, for instance, if we have a customer and we're going to do a project, we could actually create a board, give certain security access to the customer, and allow us to collaborate on what's on with the project, along with documentation and who's doing what and things of that nature. So Sage is moving to that next level. There's very robust sales, marketing, customer service. There's a very rich workflow and escalation engine built into this particular application, which Ed will talk to. But that simply means I can, based around what my business does, I can have CRM help me become more proactive. So when something happens, I want things to happen. For instance, a lead comes in. I want it aligned to the appropriate person. I want my sales rep to do certain things. If they're not doing it, things within the allotted time, I want to be notified. These are all things built into the core application stack. Lots of flexibility there. And then lastly, I apologize. I had one more slide here. This is a web application, different from the Sage 100 product, which is a client server application. Sales folks, you may have sales folks internally, externally, work for you. Maybe they work as a channel representative for you. There's a very rich security level in this particular application where you have the ability to create all the way down to field level security. So by person, what type of access do they have to your data? But also from a usability standpoint, there's nothing physically installed on the actual desktop. They open up a web browser. They have their username and password. They log into the application. So if I'm working from the office, the home office, there's also the ability to use the Sage CRM application on an iPad, an Android device, an iPhone, and any of the Android tablets as well. So really anywhere, anytime access into the CRM application, which we find really fits nicely, again, whether you have inside or outside stuff. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Ed. Ed, I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter here. And Ed is going to run us through an actual live presentation of the application here. And from there, again, if after the presentation, if you have any questions, we will also have a Q&A time as well. So Ed, with that, let me go ahead and turn this over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Robert. Okay, wanted to do a kind of quick dive into CRM, just kind of get you familiar with what we're actually looking at on the screen and what modules are available. Like Robert was mentioning earlier, that we're going to actually take some more kind of deep dives into certain modules on how Sage CRM works. What I'm going to do is kind of take you a quick overview so you can actually see some of those items now, but we probably will not go in detail on some of those items. So saying that, if you look right here on my screen, we have our menu. This is all of our different modules we have. We have My CRM. We also have a Team CRM. We also have marketing. And what you don't see on here currently is I'm going to go ahead and right-click over here. We also have opportunities. We have leads, and we also have cases. And And leads is an area that we're going to be working on today that is actually coming from a trade show. If we have a list of a trade show, we can actually go ahead and import that in. Also, too, if we are capturing something off of our web page, so if somebody actually hits your web page and you have one of those contact us page, and they go ahead and they fill in that information, how that actually gets captured within Sage CRM, and how to walk that through workflow. So that's what we're going to be touching on. But some of the other things like we have is, again, cases. Cases kind of like a problem ticket. So if you do have issues with different products or services, you can actually enter a case, also a trouble ticket. And then with that, we also have a solution database that can actually be generated off of that. So you can create different solutions. So I wanted to point out a couple of things on my menu. We have the main menu here that I'm actually logged in as administrator, so I'm going to log off real quick. You can see that that I'm actually using Internet Explorer. This also works with Firefox and Chrome with the version of 7.1 Service Pack 2. So it will work in multi-browser. I prefer Internet Explorer. It's my day-to-day thing that I typically use. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as administrator. I want to show you a couple of items. So here we have the main menu. This is where when a user actually logs in, they automatically gets taken over to their current dashboard. And here's my administrative dashboard, allows me to come up. I could also create different dashboards. If you notice, I created a custom one called Collects. This is my collection. It's going back through the CRM and actually collecting some of the data. So the other things that we have is a company area. This will allow us to capture all the information on our customers. I'm going to do a quick find. I'm going to pull up 3G Homes here and kind of take you through this menu. This will give us multiple tabs across that's associated with this customer, 3G Homes. Within here, we have a quick summary page, as well as we have different kind of communications. Communications could be call meetings to dos that's associated with this company, and then also we have opportunities and cases that I was mentioned a little bit earlier. Also on this level, on the company level, we have what's called a person level. This will allow us to drill down into each individual. So for an example, if we're dealing with 3G Homes, right now we only have one person that we're dealing with. But if we had 10 people that we were dealing with at 3G Homes, it would be listing them here. We could actually drill down inside that contact level, which allows us to get more tabs on the contact level. So for an example, if I want to create a note right here under this user, under this person level, I can go ahead and say this is a note. And this is being drilled down right here. I'm logged as administrator right here on this person level. However, if we click on the company level and we go back over here to notes, you'll see that the note is being carried up. So anything from the person level all the way up to the company level is being recorded. That is, again, with all the communications, the call meetings, to-dos are all actually part of that. So when we flip back and forth between company and person level, you can see how this kind of works in here. And now we'll talk about the Mass90 integration and how that kind of takes place, and we'll dive a little bit more into the company level. Some of the other things I do want to point out, we do have this My CRM. This is an area that's dedicated, what I was mentioning earlier, it was dedicated to the user. So when the user actually logs in, they can create their own little dashboard. And they also have some other tabs here across the top that will give them a little bit more detail. We have a calendar. The calendar will allow us to create those appointments, calls, meetings, to do, as well as anything that's actually created here. We also have a Outlook link that will actually sync all this information over to your Outlook and all of your Outlook information back over to CRM. So you have one calendar but in both places. So if you have a meeting that's generated in Outlook, you can have it sync over. So a great place to kind of fall back through. Creating different appointments is fairly easy. We can just click on a new appointment, and we have the new appointment screen comes up. We also have actions that we can actually create there. I'm going to go ahead and cancel all of that. We also have the leads portion, which we're going to be talking about here pretty soon. And then we have opportunities, which we're also going to dive into. So saying that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. Since I'm actually logged in as an administrator, I want to go ahead and log in as the sales manager. So the sales manager, I'm automatically in my CRM for the sales manager. I have a sales dashboard that I created. If you notice that I have my different opportunities that I have in each workflow. And what I mean by workflow is they are designated on these are the steps that we need to take to make sure this opportunity gets closed. If it comes in as a lead, we can actually see it. If we are negotiating on any other products or if we're doing demos, we can actually see that here. So what I was actually showing you earlier on this tab right here in the opportunities, we have our steps in our different workflow. We have our leads, we have our qualified, submitted proposal, negotiation, and a sales agreed. This is part of our workflow that I will show you here as we dive into it. But looking back on the dashboard, we can actually create different widgets to have those appear on this dashboard, so we don't have to go to these multiple tabs to find our information. They're here within one click. So if I'm wanting to look at the lead, I can go ahead and click on this right here on this lead. I made it stand out. Automatically takes me over to that lead, so I can actually do. Well, actually created a task because I clicked on the task button, but it automatically drills me down into that item. Also, too, on this dashboard, you can create different reports. If you notice there, every time I toggle off and toggle back on this tab, it automatically refreshes. It automatically gets a new view of what's been updated and will display this on the screen. So if anything has been updated, while I toggle off this and come back, that refreshed information will show up here. So if I'm wanting to look at all of our leads, it looks like I have one lead in my system or two that are negotiating. Again, I can click on here. I can run a report. Gives me different information here. I can see what my leads are, or I can actually go over to my opportunities and then kind of drill down from there. If I'm wanting to look at my qualified, I can go ahead and click here. I can see what my qualified. I can drill down a little bit further and get into this opportunity. But before I dive into this any further, what I do want to show you is the leads portion of CRM. And the leads portion is a nice area that Sage CRM dedicates just for those people that that may not even, that's a prospect or may become a customer, but you're not too sure yet. The great example of this is a trade show. So if you go to a trade show and you actually buy a list, so you may have 5,000 or 6,000 contacts on that list, but you're not too sure if they actually showed up for that little gimme item that you were displaying, and that's how you end up getting their contact information, or if they're actually really serious about your product. Sage CRM gives you a lead area that you can actually import this data in. This will keep it separate away from your customer database and your Mass 90 database until they become a potential customer, until there's an opportunity that you can actually sell something to them. At that time, it will actually take them out of leads and link them over into the company area. So this is a great area that you can actually distinguish, is this actually a customer or is this just a prospect that's inside the system? So saying that, in the marketing side of Sage CRM, you can actually market to both. You can actually make a campaign just for the leads area of CRM, and then you can send out your emails, or you can make phone calls or to-dos that you can assign to your salespeople that they can follow up on these leads. So marketing will touch both of the areas and opportunities as well as leads. But just want to show you when you get ready to actually do an import, import's pretty easy with inside Sage CRM. I'm going to go into the administration area. I can do a data upload. When I go to a data upload, you can see here we can actually import this into the company side. This is your current customers, individuals, which those are the people. and then leads. So we can import this straight into leads. The other nice thing about this import is you can actually assign them to a team of users. So if you have a sales team that you want them to work on these leads, you can actually assign that to that team. And then when they actually log into CRM, they will see all those leads that, again, that are imported, and then they can choose the ones that they want to call and work on as a team together. Or as in the import, you can actually log, when you bring them in, you can actually sign them off to individual users. So if you do have a sales manager that you're wanting to make sure he goes through this list first, you can assign that over to the sales manager, have that imported in, and from there, he can actually reassign those to each of the salespeople. So I'm going to jump back over here to Susan May. Just want to show you what a lead and what workflow looks like. I'm going to go ahead and click on New Lead. It gives us a description of this lead. So I'm just going to call this one class. What source did this come from? Did it come from the web? Did it come from a trade show? Gives us when it was opened, what the main product is be interested in. I'm going to click Training. This right here that you see on the screen can be modified. So if some of the information that you're wanting to capture is not there, we can actually create that for you. And then I'm going to go ahead and assign this to Susan May. That's who I'm logged in as. And then the company, I'm going to type in ISM. Anything with asterisk, state CRM makes required. So we'll go ahead and enter that information, save that across. There we go. So I just entered a new lead inside the system. If I come back over to CRM, you can see that my new lead has been entered in this class. Here's the information that is assigned to them. So if I click back into this, this is where our workflow actually comes into place. You can actually sign or create your own different workflow within inside Sage CRM. And what I mean by that is if I come back over to the administrator side, I'm going to go into advanced customization. We have a workflow. Sage CRM automatically gives you a workflow out of the box. However, you can actually modify this to meet your guys' needs. So the way this is currently set up with the leads is a new lead comes in, we process the lead, we'll find out if the lead needs to be reassigned or if it's at the correct salesperson automatically. We can edit the lead. We can add additional information if we need to, some contact information. We can rate the lead. We can also create a callback. We can change the rating if we want to, and then we can actually close the lead or actually bring this over into an opportunity. So saying that, I'm going to go ahead and cancel all this. So when I go back over here into this lead, we can see at any time that we can actually reassign this lead. If I click on reassign this lead for my next workflow, it wants to know who I'm reassigning this to. This could be another salesperson that's in your at your company. We also have an area that's tracking nodes. So I'm going to go ahead and put in track 1 just because I want to show you some information that's really nice about leads. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. Then it gives me my next actions. I can go ahead and edit the lead if I want to. I can rate the lead if I made a phone call to them and I find out some more information, or I can create a callback. So just to show you what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go ahead and create a callback. This will automatically create a action item for me. Call to get more info. I can go ahead and assign this a date and time. I can have a reminder on the screen. This is known as pending. I'm going to go ahead and just save this right across so we can see that right here on the tabs, we have a note tab and we also have a communications tab. So you can see that I have my phone call that's scheduled. If I end up getting the information, I can go over here and clear this appointment. I can come in with inside our details. I can type in additional details. I can save this across. Notice the communication that's actually cleared. if I need to see all the communications, I can filter that out and see all the communications that are flowing through. I can go back over here, and if I need to rate this lead because I just talked to them, this rate right here, they're going to be an A lead. Looks like they're going to be buying within 1 month. Nice company. So I'm creating some tracking notes. And what that tracking notes will do is, if you notice right here across the tab, we have tracking. Anytime that I am actually working on a lead, case, or opportunity, it will actually track on what I do with this lead. So for an example, looks like my time is actually off. My time zone is off. But right here I have when it was actually entered in, who it was assigned to, and you can see that each step that I take, it will keep track on how long this actually sits in each of that workflow items. Why this is important is because when you actually start up with leads, you can actually start creating some different notifications. So here in a couple minutes, I will actually do a gather some information across from the web. You'll see a notification that pops up on my screen, or I can actually send out an email notification. So with this notifications area, we can actually establish different kind of points. If this lead is entered in the system and it stays in the system longer than 1 week and nobody has touched it, it's been there, please email the sales manager and do a follow-up call. So we have some triggers that we can set in place based off of tracking. So that is really nice. I can click back over here into the manager side. I'm going to show you, oops, I'm sorry. I just lost my place. Escalation. So we have different escalation rules that we can actually set up. So if one meets a certain criteria, we can actually set different values, or we can set different tasks, or we can actually send out notifications. So again, going back to that tracking screen, when that information is being entered, we can have it trigger a different follow-up action or something that shows up on the screen to notify the user. So it's really nice part of CRM. Click back over to Susan May. So once this actually lead, we assigned it, everything's good to go. We're wanting, it's possible, there's a possibility that we have an opportunity coming forth on this. So we're wanting to send them a quote. What we can actually do at this point is see if they're currently in our system. So I'm going to come over here at ISM. Looks like it has all the information. I'm going to go ahead and save here. This is going to, oops, it wants me to have an address. Can't go any further without an address. For the sake of time, I'm not going to fill all the information out. I'm going to go ahead and select this company. I also have it's looking at a possible match inside the system for my name. Yes. I can go ahead and select this person. And so now this is actually being associated with companies. So you can see that this lead is matched to a company, and I can convert this over into an opportunity. It wants some more details. For sake of time, I'm just going to put in some information, what the certainty is. Right now, we're not too sure. We're only going to give it 10%, and I think I'm going to close this by, I'm just going to go ahead and put in today's date, 4-17-2013, and we're just going to put a time in there. This is being assigned to, I'm going to go ahead and assign this back over to Susan May. So I went ahead and created an opportunity called class. So if we go back over here into my CRM, you'll see that the leads, it's off the leads. It's been moved over to, let me go ahead and readjust this. Oops. You can see that it actually moves off my leads area, automatically comes into my opportunity. Here's my lead that I can work on. So I can click on lead. I can go ahead and accept this if it's being assigned to somebody else. I'm going to go ahead and make some notes. Again, the same tracking notes that we've seen on the lead side, we're getting right here on the opportunity side. Within opportunities, again, we have our own workflow. This is something that you can set up or use the out-of-box. So if we're wanting to go ahead and send a proposal, we again sign it over. This is what our forecast number is. I can put in our forecast number or notes. But if you notice right over here, we also have a quotes. This is where the integration piece of MAS actually comes into place. So if I click on notes, I click on a new quote. If this is not an existing customer, this will actually use MAS to fill out a quote for a new prospect. So let me click on this right here. So this, if you notice, MAS 90 actually comes up here. This is labeled as being a prospect quote. We can go ahead and fill in the information if we need to, and then we can come over here with our lines. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a couple of items. You guys notice this is the A, B, and C company that I'm working out of the demo database. So we have our total amounts. Oops. I did not set up. I'm going to say non-tax. And then I'm going to go ahead and accept this across. I'm going to toggle off, since CRM is actually web-based, it doesn't automatically refresh. But if you actually hit F5, or if you just toggle off and toggle back on, the information kind of shows up here. So here's our quote that we just actually sent over to the customer. This is the information. We can, from this point, we can actually start a mail merge, and we can send out in a template that you guys can create to have that on a quote. So I'm going to go ahead and preview. Here's my document. It's ready. Whoops. Of course, my Internet Explorer blocked it. Apologize. Let me go back into that opportunity. Or again, we have this recent button that I can actually click on, recent, and then I can come back over here and go into the opportunity that was just on. So let me go back over to my quotes. I go ahead and open this in Microsoft Word. So if you notice here, it actually opens in Microsoft Word. It allows you to create these templates. So you can actually put in your own logos, your own verbiage, automatically drops the information in here. It allows you to edit. You can save this as a PDF and then send it over to the customer. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. Once this is actually created, however, if we go back into the customer, I did not save it, but if we go back into the opportunity, under any of the documents, that will actually be attached in there, as well as any of the notes that have been created on that customer that will actually show up there. So if there's been an order or something else that actually comes back through. So this allows us to send out a proposal back into MAS. So MAS, that will actually be tracked, as well as within inside MAS, it will show you if you have that inventory item on there, or it also will meet that needs. So for an example, if you have inventory items and then a lot of people are requesting the quote, it will actually show up on the MAS side that you have 10 people or 10 orders that are quotes that are looking at that one item. So there you can actually forecast to see if you need to purchase more or keep more stock on hand. So once we walk this through, we have another item that we can say we can qualify this. Again, this is another area that we can track in. So each of the time that you can see tracking, we'll set that over, and it will track how long it's actually going to be in each stage. So at this point, we sent over a demo. We sent over the quote. If they're looking, if they're wanting to negotiate, or if they're looking for a demo, we can actually set that in each of the stage. This is our forecast amount. I'm just going to put in 50 just to kind of show you how that kind of works. If we bump up our certainty to 20, we'll go ahead and bring that back in there, and then you can actually see we have more items as we start to track. Is this sold? Do we need to reassign this to another salesperson? Are we in the negotiation stage? So I'm going to put this in negotiation, save, and if we go back over to my CRM, go back in the opportunities, you can actually see here is my pipeline. This is all the items I'm working on. This is my opportunities that I have, my forecast, and then if I need to, I can see right here the class is in negotiation, or I can actually click on the green over here, and that will filter out. And again, I can see what my items are. This is a great area for a salesperson when they start in CRM. Visually, they can see where they can follow up on some items, or the opportunities that are coming in, as well as leads. So at any time, you can actually take a quick look to see what is actually left out there. Like for an example, we have a sales agreed. We have one out there, so we can actually click on this, and we can say this is a 10 user. We can drill down inside this item. We can look at any notes that they have. Since this is being sold agreed, so it's being sold, but it hasn't been closed yet. So at this point, we can go into the quotes, we can go into the orders, or we can go into the notes to see why that's actually being held up, or is there any steps that we need to take on our side to make sure that this cell closes. Once this cell closes, we can actually close out the opportunity, and this will actually close it out. We have a status of 1 or close. So I'm going to say 1. I'm going to go ahead and type in some notes here. Thanks for the order. And that will actually close that one out. Again, we have the tracking of when it was actually set up, how long it was in that stage, if it was being assigned to a person. So if you notice here, it was assigned to a net, but it was created by Susan May. And from there, it started being worked on by Susan May. All the different tracking systems all the way through. So this is walking an order through. This is walking a lead all the way through the workflow, working it back into opportunity, and then we can follow the steps within opportunity to make sure that's actually closed. One thing I did want to show you back into the leads area. I just forgot to show you a little bit earlier. Here's our leads area. We have this. One thing that Sage CRM has out of the box is a lead capture. So I'm going to drill back over into the administrator side. We have a leads area, as well as we have a web to lead. So I have this enabled, and what this will allow me to do is create an HTML information that I can actually attach onto my page. So currently, if you don't have any knowledge in HTML, that's okay. Sage CRM automatically creates it for you. So it allows you to actually grab this and embed it into your current pages. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and log out, drop out of that. Like on our ISM page, we have some information that we can actually capture. But right out of the box, just want to show you what Sage CRM does. So here's the code that I just copied over a little bit earlier. At this point, I did not put any logos. I did not add it into like a web page. I just kind of want to show you out of the box and what you can do with it. But you can easily copy this from this information to your web page, and then when users, potential leads actually goes to your website, you can actually direct them over to here. This will automatically capture the information. So what are they interested in? They're interested in training. So I'm going to go ahead and type my information again, ISM. Last name is Woods. First name is Ed. Email is ewoods@goism.com. And this is a description of ABC. So I'm going to go ahead and save and submit this. I have it redirect to automatically go to our page, but with inside the settings, you can actually redirect this back over to any page that you're looking that you have. You could create another page that says thank you for your information. We'll have a sales representative contact you shortly. That's all actually included within Sage CRM. Once Sage CRM is actually, once that information is actually entered, if the salesperson or you have some workflow that's associated with it comes back through. So for an example, I'm going to go back over here in leads. This should be, there it is. So right here I set up in that notifications that I was showing you earlier that I have a notification that comes up and says, hey, wait, there was a web lead that was entered. So right now a notification pops up on my screen. I can make this different colors or make it stand out. But here's a notification, new lead has been received. It looks like it was, again, my dates are up, apologize. And it's not currently assigned to a user. So here's the information. It's ISM, Ed, and here's Ed Woods. So right now I can actually go back through CRM. I can look at the unassigned. Oh, here it is. That's what just came from the web. I can click on it here, and I can actually assign this over to another user, or I can go ahead and start working it down that workflow. So at this point, what I wanted to show you is existing customers. I know that you guys are currently using Mass right now, and how does this help you with your day-to-day? We've seen how leads actually come in and how we can walk them through workflow, but on our day-to-day basis, how do we actually help our existing customers? How this will help your current business? Again, Robert mentioned that CRM is a customer relationship management. This is a way that we can actually manage different customers that we have. So if they're existing customers, we can go ahead and create those notes, meetings, to-dos that you have. This is all being entered into one place. So a sales manager can actually look at sales people and find out what their calendar. Who are they talking with? What are they doing? How is this count evolving? So what I want to do is just kind of show you really quick on this side. So if there's an existing customer and we're wanting to kind of work with them, I want to show you a little bit how this kind of works. So I'm going to go ahead and I wanted to make sure that I use A&Z Carpet because it's actually currently a Mass customer. And how we can tell that is if you notice right here, we have the Mass information that's being pulled from Mass. As well up here it tells us where that's coming from. It's coming from A, B, and C company. That's the company name that it's coming from. And here's the Mass information. We also have right here on the side, we have customer maintenance and our customer relationship. If I actually click on customer maintenance, this allows me to drop inside Mass at this point. I can actually look at different histories, invoices, or sales orders that are currently open. Any transactions that took place, as well as if any information gets changed. So right now they're on Suite 250. Whoops. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and update this in Mass. Let me save it across. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Here's my address over here in Sage CRM. I'm just going to toggle back on real quick, and you can see that it automatically gets updated within Sage CRM. Inside Sage CRM, we have it turned on as well, that if any information is getting changed within Sage CRM, we can actually have that updated. You can turn this feature on or off, but right here for the demo purposes, I have that turned on. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. So I updated it back to where it was prior to that. I go back into the summary page. I click on my customer maintenance. Again, that record's being updated. We also have a view into Mass from our Inquiries tab. This allows us to go and view any of the sales orders. If you guys use Mass quite a bit, you guys notice that the Business Insights here automatically comes up. It's automatically filtered for this customer. So if I'm wanting to look at the current orders that they have, A&Z Carpet Supply, here's some information on the item that they actually use, dollar amount. Again, here's my next order. We can actually see it there. If it was actually already sent out, I'm wanting to see some of the invoice histories, I can go ahead and do that. That would filter out so I can actually see that as well. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. The other thing that what we have with inside this for your existing customers is I can actually click on a new order. From this point, I can create a new order from A&Z Carpet. I can associate with a person, and then I can associate with an opportunity if I want to, or I can actually turn that off that I have to create an opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and proceed. Notice that sales order entry automatically comes up. I have a standard order. Again, I can change this over to a different type of order, but you'll notice that it fills out all the information on the customer. Also, it tells us right here that this is also being synchronized back with, if you're just in standalone mass 90, you can actually see that it's being associated back with Sage CRM. From here, I can actually put in the addresses or the ship to addresses. I can create my line items just like I did on the quote. Still shows me what is available in inventory. Here's my totals, my credit card information if I need to add that, and I can go ahead and accept that. That will actually go ahead and it creates the order inside the system. If I need to check on any of the orders, I can go over here to to notes. You can see that I went ahead and created an order. It gives me the order number that if I need to refer back to, or I need to go back over to the inquiries, or if I want to pull up that order and send it out as a quote, I can go back into my opportunities, pull up that, whoops, it's an order, not a quote, apologize. Here's my item. Here's what's actually been ordered. So again, I can actually do that mail merge to put it into that document. So this is a way that Sage CRM uses mass to bring all that information together. So at this point, if there's any questions or anything, we can go ahead and take those at this time.
Thank you, Ed. And Ed, if you want to go ahead and turn over the presenter to me, and Bryce, if you can go ahead and open up the phone lines. I'm not sure if you can do that in one swoop. We'll go ahead and take any questions that people may have. Does anybody, so what we've covered so far, guys, again, is really scratching the surface. As I mentioned before, Sage CRM has a whole bunch of tools for many people within our organization, primarily around the front of the house. We really kind of talked about sales, some level of marketing, but not a whole lot. But there's a whole bunch of tools for the marketing folks. There's a whole bunch of tools for customer service. So it's really just a high level to kind of show you how does sales kind of relate and how is it integrated into the Sage 100 product. What we'd like to do is get some feedback from you if there's specific disciplines within CRM you'd like us to kind of follow up, whether that's the marketing, to kind of show some of the e-marketing functionalities of tracking opens, forward scoring, the customer service side, the social portion or mobility side. We would love to get your feedback, and that will kind of help us shape our next presentations here or lunch and learn.